Hello, everybody. All right. All right, Diana. Now, all right. I know I probably didn't say it in the best way before so to kind of explain why I do that. I have had some issues in the past with YouTube where you know when I'm reading stuff like on other screens and I'm not watching the YouTube thing. Sometimes I've been told that sometimes the volume there's issues with the volume. Sometimes it cuts out, and I'm not aware of it until it's too late. So what I usually will do is before we start talking, I usually go over and make sure the mic is working and then mute it. So again, I know I probably didn't say I didn't when I was kind of more curt and abrupt in directing you there, and I was not trying to be rude or anything like that. Just in the moment there. So I hope you understand. Anyways, just as a usual reminder for everybody, if you haven't already, you guys can like and share the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage and be part of the show, part of the conversation as we get ready to go through some comics here. Also, if anything grabs your attention during the show, anything that we read or talk about grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions, and we will go ahead and try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. Oh, Miss Diana, can you tell us how you're doing? Want to maybe give a little intro and then share any links, promote anything?
Sure,
The floor is
absolutely. Well,
yours.
absolutely. First off, Mike, thanks for inviting me. I look forward to a fun-filled evening of comic book reading and educating myself. So my name is Diana. I'm from Hero Shack Press. Christopher Tamulevich, so many of you may know that name. He is the creator of the Great Cyclopean. We are finishing up our 7th issue of the Great Cyclopean. It should be going. We're starting our campaign, I think, this week. So we're very excited about that. But, feel free to jump on over to HeroShack.com where we have issues 1 through 6 of the Great Cyclopean free for your pleasure and hopefully enjoyment of reading the comics. You can find them on our website. So,
And
yeah.
if you would like to share the link to your website
Okay.
or any other links,
Okay. Let
feel
me
free to
do
do
that.
so.
Alrighty. Let me put that. I'm going to put that pop that in the chat right now here. Let me see if I
My
can do that.
recommendation is probably go to the StreamYard screen just because I think you'll catch.
Yeah, I gotta go. That's okay. I got it. So it's HeroShack.com. Pretty simple. I just put it up there. I don't know if that was the link or not. Hold on a second, Mike. Let me get over to and actually get the link to the website. I wasn't really thinking. Like, I'll just pop it in like this. And let me go back here because I put HeroShack.com. Let's see if this will be a link. Yes, there is the actual link, I think. But anyways, if you type in HeroShack.com in your browser, it'll pull up our website. And feel free to check it out.
So there's a link, folks. If you all want to go check that out, check
Mm-hmm.
out Chris and Diana's work there. Sure they'd appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So with all that, was there anything else you'd like to promote or talk about? Real quick?
Not really. I mean, Chris is working hard on the final touches of the Great Cyclopean issue 7. For me personally, as his editor and everything else under the sun, I think this is one of his better reads. I mean, I love all his issues. Of course, I love the story of the Great Cyclopean. He's an amazing character. And so I think it's very funny. I cannot
And
wait.
I hear you guys have been doing a lot of work with kids lately too.
Yeah, actually, yes. As a matter of fact, we are on our second session. So we both work in elementary education, and we have started a comic creator club. Not a comic book club, a comic creator club, because what we're doing is we're taking the students, they are 3rd and 4th grade students, step by step on how to create a comic book. And Chris is basically directing the show. I'm there again as his support person, helping the kids out with the writing part of it. Is that where kind of my expertise is, and Chris is trying to encourage them on how to sketch out and do paneling and all of the things that are required to make a comic book. So we're starting up our second session next Thursday. We have about 12 students that are participating in the second session, and we're very, very excited about it. And it's a lot of fun, a lot of fun to see the excitement.
You're the writing half of the duo. Chris is the art half, right?
Well, not necessarily. Chris does all for the Great Cyclopean. Chris does all of the writing, all of the creating, all of the art. He does the pencils, he does the inks, he does the colors, he does the writing. I do the editing, and I help him.
But at least in this thing with the kids, you're kind of the writer.
Yeah, I'm in the actual creating the comic creator club. I'm helping them focusing on the language and the spelling errors and all of that kind of stuff, because it's pretty amazing when you see third and fourth graders start to create their stories. They need a lot of prompts. They need a lot of I want to write a story about a fireman. Okay. And so I've come up with different templates, I guess, cheat sheets for, you got to find out, what is your story about? What, do you have any characters? What are your characters? So we have a template that the kids fill out with just basic information. My character is going to be a male, or my character is going to be, land monster, or whatever it might be. And then we encourage them to name them and to give them physical details and their personality. So we walk them through all the steps of creating characters. Then we move into, what is your plot line? Where is your arc in your story? And those kinds of things. And I use that language with them. All the while we use templates for them to fill in the email, fill in the language. And it's a lot of fun. And I think our first session, we had 22 students sign up. It was a very large class. But I'll be honest, Mike, it was too much. We couldn't really get much done, because third and fourth graders like to talk, and they're very chatty, and most of them didn't realize it was going to be work. It's like sitting down in your ELA class, and having to write a paragraph. And it's like, well, you want to make comic books. Where do you think one little kid said, well, can't I just make all pictures? And well, you could, but you have to be a pretty good artist and composition to do.
Well, that's not necessarily that's more of a picture book than anything else.
Exactly. So we have a great group of students. We're very excited. Like I said, we start next Thursday right after school lets out. We go 3 to 4, and Chris is amazing, and the kids love him, and I'm just there to help with.
Well, Chris does have kind of that gregarious,
yes, he does,
personality, where he's the kind of person who just kind of likes to be around people.
Yes.
At least in the time I've gotten to know him, that's what I've picked up. So.
Yeah, Chris is very much loved in the school district. He's like a big kid. Everybody knows Mr. T. Yeah, so that's going on.
Well, at least I guess if he's going around going by the name Mr. T, I'm sure some people might be thinking Mohawk.
Well, it's funny that the kids today don't recognize Mr. T like we knew Mr. T. Chris actually had to. I think he told me one point that he showed a picture of the Mr. T, the guy with the gold chain, the wrestler guy and stuff, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, that was." But he's known as Mr. T in the school. So
yeah, well, I don't know if you remember this or if you even saw the cartoon, but that Mr. T back in the 80s there did actually have his own cartoon for us.
Yes, he did. I do remember. I didn't watch it, but I know of it. I'm aware of it, and it was pretty crazy.
I actually have the soundtrack they came out with.
Do you really?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's
awesome. Mean, and as was the case back in the 80s there with all the PSA stuff and stuff like that, a lot of the songs were like PSA, don't talk.
Yeah. Exactly. That's funny.
Right. So we've gone through the intros now. So why don't we get into the material at hand then?
Yeah, absolutely.
So first off, we're going to, of course, look at a little history of Eastern. We're going to at least take a general overview here of what was going on with Eastern Color Printing in 1940 years. So I pull the thing up here via the share screen. Yeah, and I'll read this part off. And then, again, if anything here captures your attention or anything grabs your attention, Diana, feel free to comment and or ask questions. And
absolutely.
Answer the questions to the best of my ability.
Alrighty.
All right, so this is from the wiki page for Eastern Color Printing. Eastern Color at this time was known. They were up until this point they'd only been publishing one comic, which was Famous Funnies. They were actually the first company to come into existence in originally it was like a few one shots before they finally settled in on Famous Funnies in 1934. So they were technically the first comic book to be published.
Really? That's awesome.
So, and of course, we'll talk a little bit about Buck Rogers here in a moment. But, so the 1940s, in addition to publishing its own comic books, Eastern continues to do printing for the majority of publishers in the comic book industry. An article in the Hartford Courant, dated February 15th, 1954, states that an executive of one of the largest comic book printing firms in the nation, located in Waterbury, Connecticut, said 65 million issues are printed each month. Of these 65 million issues, you were about to say something, Naya?
No, I'm like, that's a lot. It seems like a lot.
More than 40% are printed in Connecticut's Eastern Color Printing. So they were a printing company and a publishing company at the time. So prints comics and advertising for other publishers through the 1960s, including comic books were Timely. Timely was the precursor to Marvel, basically. EC and Big Boy restaurants. I don't know if you had big boys where you grew up. We had them here in California. But
yep, we had them in Florida. I grew up in Florida, so yeah.
Eastern also printed the Sunday Funnies for a number of newspapers, including the Waterbury Sunday Republican, New Haven Register, Hartford Courant, and newspapers in Boston, Providence, and Worcester.
Worcester.
That's a weird one.
It is weird, but it's and anybody that's not from our area, because Worcester is about 40 minutes from where I live, they say Worcester. They look at Worcester. They look at, but it's actually Worcester.
Yeah, even though I know that's not the name, because I've heard, obviously with certain pro wrestlers who are from there, I've heard them say it. It's just weird. All right, so 1940 then. So Eastern introduces its second monthly title, Regular Fellers, Heroic Comic. This is later in the year, I would take it. The title is the official publication of Regular Fellers. Now, Regular Fellers, as I understand it, was actually a regular feature in the papers back then.
Okay.
And they decided to make Regular Fellers of America a junior athletic organization dedicated to developing wholesome summer recreation for teens. The title lasts until 1955, so it's about 15 years there, so that was a good run. It eventually shortens its title to simply Heroic Comics, beginning with issue number 16, changes again with issue number 41 to New Heroic Comics. Properties owned by McNaught Syndicate and published by Eastern Color Printing are transferred to Columbia Features, publishers of Big Shot Comics and other titles. Eastern appears to have retained a close relationship with Columbia, running advertisements for Columbia Books in their own comic book titles. Color Printing purchases a new Goss press at 6-1. So that's basically what was going on with them in 1940 there. So let's take a quick peek at the comic that they introduced in January 1940 here, Buck Rogers. So this is a book that came out, but unfortunately there's no sign of the book or even details on it. But like, the few details I do have on it, I guess they were a collection of reprints from the Buck Rogers newspaper strips. Which which
Right.
in the early days of comics, there were a lot of these comic books that were made up of these where they would just reprint
Right.
older newsprint stories. And I told you that before.
Mhm.
So, oh, but look at it. So there's what the comic looked like right there. So, um, 10 cent as all comics were back then.
Mhm.
So, publisher Eastern Color Printing, Indicia publisher, Eastern Color Printing company. The cover date of winter 1940, released January 1st, 19. Now that's most likely an approximate
Mhm.
day, not because again, some of these comics, of course, didn't have. Some of these comics didn't have specific dates, specific dates. They were just approximate dates,
Mhm.
but that's what you get going back 83 years.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right. So, with all that being said, now let's get to actually reading some comics here now. I
Mhm.
got some of the intro work there done.
Okay.
So now, well, as I said, we're going to start with Wiz Comics Volume 1, Issue 2. Now, the tricky thing about Wiz Comics is even though this is considered the second issue in the Indicia, may not necessarily notice the first couple of issues of Wiz Comics.
Yeah.
They didn't put the numbers on it. It wasn't until like issue 3 that they actually started putting. Initially,
Mhm.
the first issue was actually called Thrill Comics and was Ashcan. Um, Here we go with Wiz Comics here. Yeah, Wiz Comics. Oh wait, actually, that this wasn't actually, well, actually that's right. I
Is
just
it the link you sent me? You sent me a link of it.
Yeah, well, I sent you the this, but then I just realized too that this one doesn't have the full list of comics, so I'm gonna just go to another site here real quick.
Mhm.
This is the one that would have the full list of Wiz comics. All right, so and this one, even though it'll be a bit faded here, so we're gonna read the Captain Marvel, and just so you have a copy of it as well.
Mhm.
Copy the link there.
Excuse me.
All right, so I just copied the link. I'm going to put it in the private chat for you.
Okay.
The link to this particular site. Um, if you want to open a window and have one have a copy for
Right. Yeah.
yourself to look over.
Okay. I got it.
All right, so with that, well, let's get into this. And usually this site is a little bit easier because you on the other site I was on before, we'd have to click the thing and then um, do it. So there's the original Captain Marvel right there.
Mhm.
That's the Billy Batson version. That's not the Marvel Comics one. That's the one that they now call Shazam.
I was gonna say that doesn't. Yeah, it's got the Shazam kind of thing on his chest.
Well, yeah.
Yep.
So Flash, Scoop, Wiz Comics featuring Captain Marvel, Ibis the Invincible, Golden Arrow, Spy Smasher, Scoop Smith, Lancer Casey, Dan Dare. All new, already the best. Look for details of our new Wiz Comics $25 cash contest on page 49 of this issue. $25 back in 1940 was probably considered quite a bit of
Cash
money.
prize. That's pretty. That was a lot of money back then.
Yeah, so all right, so here we go. Captain Marvel. And I think I'll let because Billy Batson's about a 12-year-old kid here. So
Mhm.
I think I'll let you have him. I'll take Captain Marvel himself. And then
Okay. So you want me to do the boy where it says hello,
yeah,
everybody?
when he's in boy form there. But let me get the narration in here first,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can go and get that little. Every day, millions of people listen to Billy Batson bringing thrilling news broadcasts direct from the scene of. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
Oh.
This is Billy Batson, radio reporter.
Okay, so one of the interesting things about comics of this time period, right, the Golden Age, you did have a lot of young protagonists like that.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of kids who were doing a lot of great things in the comics. So spectacular fires.
It's the worst disaster in the city's history.
Let's see.
Sensational.
Yeah. Okay. Sensational prison breaks.
They can't get away, folks. The wind is blowing 100 miles an hour. Good night, folks. Pat Billy Bats. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Good night, folks. It's got another character there. I figured you were going to read that.
And that's a woman speaking.
That's a woman speaking? Oh, it is a woman speaking. Yeah. All right. That Billy Batson is a marvel. How does he do it?
Talk about puns there, huh? But not one of his millions of listeners knows that. Now I got it. So I'm starting from the left and then going to the right here. So Solomon, wisdom. Hercules, strength. Atlas, stamina. Zeus, power. Achilles, courage. Mercury, speed. By speaking the magic word Shazam, Billy Batson becomes Captain Marvel, the world's mightiest mortal. Now, were you aware of that before I read that?
I did not. No, I wasn't aware of that at all. I don't really have a lot of reference to many of the well-known comic heroes.
I know you said that before, but that's kind of he just says Shazam, and all of a sudden he goes from being a 12-year-old kid to a young man in his prime. I guess you'd say around a 25-year-old looking man. With powers, right?
Right.
Yep. One day, the president of the United States received a threatening note. And I'm not even going to bother trying to read that note. That's just...
Yeah, I can't. It's not very clear. I don't think it's...
Well, the problem is this whole scan is not very clear.
Yeah.
Crack G-men are ordered to find the writer of the note.
Right.
Savannah must be captured. Dr. Savannah is Billy Batson's arch enemy there.
Okay. So that's good to know.
Many miles away at his lonely aquarium or lonely mountain fortress, Savannah, mad scientist of destruction, reviews his mighty Mark. I'll be Emperor of the United States. Thousands of super soldiers. Hundreds of streamlined trains. Guns that own
that can fire.
It can fire 75 miles. And both.
It looks like it says, and 120 armed combat cars.
Right. I'm gonna let you try to read.
Are supported by the military air fleet. I think it's that's a really the
In
greatest
history.
air fleet in history or something. I can't really read that; it's too blurry.
A week later, the president receives another note. Savannah's giant bomber drops soldiers and tanks a few miles from the nation's capital.
Mm-hmm.
From a news plane, Billy Batson broadcasts the battle.
The enemy are surrounding the city.
Under Billy Batson. Oh wait, oh yeah,
Landing,
oh
Billy rushes to the battlefront.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, that's about right.
The-
Oh,
then Billy, I guess that's Billy going. The enemy tanks are coming.
a terrific bombardment opens a hole in the American line.
If the tanks break through, the city is sunk. This is a this is a job for Captain Marvel. Shazam!
Lightning strikes as Billy speaks the magic word and becomes Captain Marvel. I must stop those tanks. Bang! Boom! And you got some good action scenes here.
Mm-hmm.
Crisp. Marvel puts the other tank out of commission. Ivana soldiers are retreating. Chasing them, Marvel speaks the magic word. Shazam! Boom! Crash! Lightning flashes. Thunder rolls. And he becomes Billy Batson.
I've got to find Savannah.
Sneaking through the lines, only Billy finds the open the enemy general's tent. Inside the tent, Savannah is talking to his general by television. Report to me at once. Yes, master.
He's found. He's going to Savannah.
I'm just quickly check to see if anybody's adding anything in the chat or anybody saying anything in the chat yet. No, guess not. Just as a reminder, of course, anything catches your attention, everybody, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We will try to answer the question to the best of our ability. A soldier stops Billy. Let's see. Who are you, brat?
Shazam!
Billy speaks the magic word. Um, lightning
Crackles.
crackles, and Captain Marvel comes to the rescue. Ow! Racing after the plane, he catches it. Look at that! Look at that. You see that, Diana?
Yeah, I do. I'm looking right at it. Yep. Very cool.
And lances atop the
Fuselage.
fuselage. Meanwhile, the mad Savannah has seen everything on a television screen in his mountain fortress. So my friend Captain Marvel is coming to see me, huh? Good. The the plane reaches its destination. A giant elevator whisked it underground, far beneath the Earth's surface. Marvel follows the two men. Suddenly, let's see. Savannah's bodyguards charge. Let's get him! Swinging from a overhanging beam,
Yeah.
Marvel leaps over them, and they're saying, "Yada what? Yada what I was reading, or yada somebody in the chat?"
No, I just was kind of listening to you read.
Huh. Let's see. Race toward a statue, I guess. Deadly gas overcomes Captain Marvel. Savannah's bodyguards bind him with powerful chains. In Savannah's office, he comes to. Welcome, Captain Marvel. Defeated my army, did you? Well, when the other
When the others have gone. Yep.
Look, Savannah shows Marvel his something machine of destruction.
The Atom something or other.
Atom Smasher.
Okay, the Atom Smasher. Yep.
Which was a common bad guy weapon back then.
That sounds right.
Considering the time that we're talking about there.
Right.
In 5 minutes, that machine will blast you to bits. But I won't be here. Goodbye, Captain. Savannah's defeated army has returned. The Falls are coming back. You said we couldn't lose, Master Savannah. But I at that moment, Captain Marvel burst his chains. Just as the infernal machine is about to blow up, he leaps out the window. Just getting an idea. Okay, so we're almost done with this one because it was only 12 pages to begin with. So, seconds later, a terrific explosion destroys the fortress. Boom! Farewell, Savannah. Well, my work is done, and now, Shazam!
Ladies and gentlemen, Savannah is dead by his own mind.
I think it's supposed to be hand.
By his own, his own hand. By his own hand.
Yeah. Once again, Billy Batson, radio reporter, broadcast a sensational scoop. But is Savannah really dead? Look for the answer in next month's exciting adventure of Captain Marvel, exclusive in Wiz Comics. Now, Diana, I know that this is not a term we use that much nowadays, but in this particular context, do you know what the term whiz means?
Whiz, like I would think like wizard or like I don't know, sensational, great, terrific.
Yeah. Well, I believe in this particular case, yeah, I think great, terrific could be one aspect. Another could also mean like speedy or fast as
Mm-hmm.
well.
Right,
Because there was a Marvel superhero named the Wizard as well,
right.
because they said he'd make the whizzing sound. It was a now I may be pronouncing the word a little wrong here. You may know what the proper pronunciation of what I'm about to say here is, but an umaplatea. It's a type of it's a word that
Right.
is a sound effect. It's a sound effect
Right.
for
It's a sign of yeah. It's just a fancier way of saying um a sound effect.
right.
Basically.
Yeah. So how did you like that story, Diana?
Actually, it was a nice little story. I read through it earlier, so I had an idea of, what it was about. I like the wholesomeness of the earlier comics that
Mm-hmm.
it's the antagonist protagonist, they're on a mission, the good guy normally wins, and they usually leave you oftentimes with like what's going to happen in the next issue. And I think those are the types of comics I don't see a lot of nowadays, but
Mm-hmm.
my comic book reading is not as vast as other people's comic book
Right.
readings.
Well, the golden age comics did have some wholesome stuff and they had some darker stuff too.
Yeah,
Um, so it was more of a mix back then. Now it seems like you see more of the darker stuff than anything else.
yeah.
More shades of gray in the writing these days than you did back then. So,
Mhm.
all right. So, anyways, we'll move on to the second story from
Okay.
this book. The second and final
Mhm.
story we'll cover from this book, which is the Ibis story.
Mhm.
And there is a female character in there. So, Princess Taya is their name, spelled Taia.
Okay.
Uh, so, once you get down there, this is the golden arrow. The death, and they have the of course the short and the scoop Smith. They did have the tech stories in here too.
Mhm.
But back in these days, they were not called comic books; they were called comic magazines.
Right. No,
And I think
I did know that.
yeah,
Um
there we go. There's Ibis right there. All right, so 4,000 years after death, Prince Ibis returns to life. Let's see. In a European museum, he finds the coffin of Princess Taya, his sweetheart, in ancient Egypt, and Taya awaken. And then some, um, with the aid of the all-powerful Ibis stick, brings her back to life. But before he can release her from the unbelievable glass case,
unbreakable glass.
unbreakable glass, a thief grabs the Ibis stick and runs off. Now, Taya and Ibis here, if you look at them, even though the scan's probably not the best here, I often would say they're probably somewhere in their early to mid 20s, 20 to
Okay.
25. So just
Mhm.
give you kind of an idea of um, for a character reference when you're like doing her voice.
Mhm.
Um, Ibis dashes in pursuit. Um, the thief points the Ibis stick, shouts shouts a command, and make a stone wall. A wall forms out of nowhere. Talk about magic, huh?
Mhm.
Vaulting it, Ibis renews the chase out of, but the thief throws another obstacle in his path. Let's see you climb that. So you see what the obstacle he put up there?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's the
Kind
like
of a gorge or something like that.
yeah.
Gorge or
Yeah.
trench or something like that. Okay. Telephone wires come to the rescue. But the thief then vanishes. He's gone. Meanwhile, Kea gasps for breath in the airtight glass case in the deserted museum.
Loved one, save me. I don't know what that. I can't read what the last two words are.
I think it's just a repeat of like
Save me, loved one, save me, save me.
in a poor section of town, something drops by Idis's feet.
A gold gun, maybe.
Yeah,
Gold.
a gold gun. A gold gun.
Hmm.
A gold coin. That could be
A gold, maybe a gold coin. Yeah, probably a coin. Yeah.
Yeah. Hundreds of gold coins are falling from a window. Let's see. Hurrying upstairs, Ida sees a strange sight. Gold, more gold. He climbs. He lunges forward, but that's mine. Give it to me. A a hero poured. Just for that, I'm gonna make you turn to gold. But the ibis stick cannot harm its true master, Ibis. The ibis stick turns the thief into gold. A dangerous weapon for those who would do evil with it. Wow. Kind of a nice little moral story here, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Don't mess with the ibis stick, or else you're gonna get
in trouble. You'll be in trouble.
Leaving the building, there's more. There's more upstairs. It's all yours. Ibis races toward the city and reaches the museum just in time. Glass dissolve.
It's all so strange.
Where shall we go? Ibis. Ibis. Something Taya, and they leave the museum. Oh.
Let us return. Let us return to Thebes.
Thebes, yeah, that's what it is. Thebes is a place in Egypt, I believe.
Yeah.
Thebes is gone, my princess, but I will build you a new Thebes. Ibis in the deep in the Sahara desert, the ibis stick creates an ancient Egyptian city. New Thebes arise. Right, that magic stick's pretty powerful.
It sure is. It is
Don't you,
beautiful.
Diana? Don't you wish you had an Ibis stick?
No, no, not at all. I would get in trouble. Oh,
The power scare you too much?
yeah, I wouldn't want a palace. Not at all.
You wouldn't want that power, is what you mean?
No, nope. Wouldn't want the power. Too much responsibility.
Yeah.
I got
Well,
enough.
that is a saying that came from Marvel, right? With great
Mhm.
power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, I do believe that is where it came from, or at least that's where I heard it from.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess it's me the next time. It's beautiful.
Nothing is too beautiful for you, beloved. Miles away at his desert stronghold, the Arab outlaw Hamed Hamed learned of the city Ibis created. He made the city like magic with a stick. I must have that magic stick. A few nights later, as Taya admired the moonlight, two two of two of Ahmed's men um, seized her hand. Look at that.
They carry her off. Yep.
Now, Brad, we know for various reasons that doesn't go over well in any time period.
Mm-mm.
But how do you think people back in the 40s reacted to that scene compared to how people today might react to that scene?
I think in the 40s it was probably tolerated better than it would be today in today's world. I think today's woman probably would have fought back harder. She didn't like she really fought at all. I mean,
Yeah.
basically, like she just was strong armed and that's it. But I think in today's world, women today are more independent and
Mhm.
probably would fight back more. There'd be more of a fighting scene before she's just whisked off her feet with her mouth covered and her legs, off the ground. This is definitely reminiscent of 19, the 1940s and whatnot. But
Women were looked at as being more dainty, more.
yeah, yep,
Um, so,
yeah, exactly.
and of course, today too, they would have. I'm sure they would have had a scene in there where a woman would have probably tried to kick or knee
Well,
or
that's what I
hit
mean.
the nether region, as it were.
Yeah, well,
You
they
get what
that's
I
what I'm
mean.
saying. The women today are more independent. They would have fought back. They wouldn't have allowed. There would have been more of a stronger struggle. Whether they, you know, I don't know how they would have done it, but I know they maybe kick them like you said in the other regions.
Gallop
Um,
off into the desert. Next morning, Ibis reads a strange ransom message in the sky. Give magic stick or girl dies. So she's been kidnapped. He points the ibis stick. Um, yeah, he points the ibis stick, speaks, and Falcon, come here. The the air the airplane dedicated yeah, decided a Falcon, which soon to uh, take take me to your master horse.
that was a tough one.
The Falcon is changed into a horse swiftly. So he didn't even have to say it. He just all he said, "Take me to your master horse," and the bird becomes a horse.
I see that. That's some good
That's
magic.
powerful magic there.
Uh huh.
Well, hopefully with the next comic it'll be a little bit clearer, so I'll be able to read it even faster. I know. Yeah,
Well, and I could do some reading too. I'm just kind of like, I'm just sitting here. I have 3 or 4
well,
lines.
I would have thought there would have been more lines for you there too. I'm sorry about that with Taya there, but swiftly the stallion carries him um, to Hamed's
Comments, yeah.
fortified camp.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a let's see,
A guard fires at him.
yeah, something like that. But the potent ibis stick transforms the bullet into an
An
apple.
apple.
Here, old fella. And then gives the apple to a horse, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Arab out.
It's Arab cutthroats block his path.
But
at Ibis's command, but at Ibis's command.
Stop your horse grease. They turn into geese. Oh, okay,
Geese,
not grease.
Yeah, geese.
Stop your Norse geese.
And then yeah.
Quickly, Ibis finds Hamed's tent.
Yep.
Who let you in here? Your faithful geese. Look at Taya right there.
Mm-hmm. Well, she's thankfully going to be saved.
The Arab bandit. Well, okay. Go ahead. I'll let you. You probably can read the narrations a little better because of the scan. But go for it.
The Arab bandit chief hurls a dagger. The next line.
Take that, you.
And then it says, in something, the ibis stick it to a halt or something. I can't really.
Yeah, I know.
A dove. Oh, wait a minute. In a moment,
like,
I know what it says. In a moment, the ibis stick changes it into a dove. Because if you look above where the line you're going to read now, it says the word dove. So that's what that says, I bet. I'd go with that.
Yeah, daggers are dangerous. I prefer a dove. Of course, dove, as we know, are the symbols of peace, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Where? What are you going to do to me? Nothing. Shine.
Nothing swine.
Oh, yeah, nothing swine.
Hamad becomes his real self, which obviously he's a swine.
Or what's another word for it? A 3-letter word?
Pig.
Yeah, pig.
And awaiting them, there is a message who will send them to the ends of the world on the strangest mission of all time. Don't miss next month's miraculous adventure of the beautiful princess and Ibis the Invincible. And Ibis the Invincible, yes. Woo. What a good story that was.
You like that story?
I did like it. Like I said, I like it sounds weird. I don't know what other word to use. The wholesomeness of these comics. Like it's you have your bad guy, you have your good guy, you have in this one a beautiful princess that gets captured. Needs to be. You have some magic. You have all like the makings of a good story. And I find the art very interesting. And like you said, the images that we're looking at are not as crisp as they would be originally. So it's really hard to see it. But the style is very different from today's comic art, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. It's very different.
Yeah. All right, so we're done with Wiz Comics. So hopefully, as I said, the other comic will be better. Gonna go back to the other one, the other site, Comic Book Plus.
Okay.
That one I think you should have already. It'll be the one. It'll be the one with the slam bang. Fawcett. And normally, with since it's a new comic, we'd go over but there was again not a whole lot of information, not a lot of background information was provided for it. So
Right.
but we're gonna read Diamond Jack and go all the way to the end to Mark Swift, and then depending upon where we're at on time, we may even hit the Joe Dolan story. So. So we'll be going back and forth. Now this is the one where I have to like click on the page to get it to turn. It's like not like
Right.
So March 1940, of course, was the cover date, not the on sale date was January.
Right.
This comic. So number 1, Slam Bang Comics. So.
Yep.
Yeah. There's look at that. So, wherever stars gather, you'll find Wiz Comics. Rootin' Tootin' Gene Autry and charming Jane Withers, currently starring in 20th Century Fox's Shooting High, get a big kick out of Wiz Comics, America's 7-star thrill parade. So if you're shooting high for new thrills, do as the stars do. Read Wiz Comics and tingle to the adventures of Captain Marvel, Ibis the Invisible, Golden Arrow, Spy Smasher, Scoop Smith, Lance O'Casey, and Dan Dare. Wiz Comics on sale everywhere, 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of laughed when it said tingle there.
It's the language.
Well, I know why you probably. I have a feeling I kind of have an idea why you laughed when the word tingle was used, but I don't think they may have been using it back then in the same context.
Well, I was laughing because you don't hear people use the word tingle a lot in today's conversations, or at least I don't. In the conversations, I don't use that word. Tingling can be excitement. Tingling can be you have goosebumps.
Yeah,
means a lot.
Well, I think it also has a slightly different, having to do with body humor, as it were.
I don't know. I don't use.
Well, I'm probably thinking more tinkle than tingle. But
tinkle, like going to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's what I would
tingle.
think.
Yeah, I was gonna say tingle. I don't know what tingle, except I'm tingling all over. Ooh, he just kissed me and I have a tingle, that kind of thing. Or I'm tingling because I'm freezing in my skin. There's different ways, but yeah.
All right. So, anyways, now we're gonna get to Diamond Jack here. Devil Flyers here. Hey, Mike. Hey, Rex. How you doing, man? Thanks for dropping in.
Hi.
Yeah. So, if you guys haven't already, if you guys, of course, can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and/or ask questions. We will try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. And with that, let's get into this comic here. Diamond Jack in possession of a miraculous. In fact, something, Diana. What I'm going to do is I have a feeling I don't know if there are any women or kids in this one. I'm going to let you narrate this one, and then if there are women and kids, we'll hit that. But I'm going to let you narrate this story.
Okay, that sounds good. All right. So Diamond Jack, in possession of a miraculous diamond given him by an old magician, becomes physically strong and mentally beyond all ordinary mortals. As instructed by the aged magician, Diamond Jack uses the wizardry of the magic gem to aid the worthy.
Yeah, apparently there was a bit of a slice there, I guess.
Yeah, I see it like a tear. They could have done a better job with putting it back together, but it's okay. We got it. We got it.
Well, this scan at least is, despite that, this scan's at least better than the
Yes.
other one.
And I actually read this story through, so I found it very interesting. I actually liked it. So, okay. All is gaiety tonight at the exclusive Cafe Imperial. When? That's you, Mike.
All right. Well, before I do that, again, another word that you don't hear a lot today, gaiety.
Mhm.
Like I know what it is, but for everybody else, a bit of education here. Diana, can you tell us all what gaiety means in this context?
Well, it's like a party. They're having fun, gaiety. They're celebrating,
Oh,
joyous. They're cheerful. They're merrymaking, or having.
right.
I mean, yeah, gaiety. They're having a gay old time.
Right. Yeah, not how people when we say gay or gay old time like in the Flintstones or what have you, not like how people mean the term gay today. If you
No,
get
not at all. Not at all.
all right. So, anyways, don't anybody move. This is a holdup. There's some narration at the bottom.
Yep. A terrifying group dashes in.
Yeah, never mind the alarm, buddy. Anybody who moves or resists will get the next bullet.
But one guest defies the thugs.
Go on, shoot me if you dare. Wow, talk about courage.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a little narration down in the right hand corner there.
Where at? I'm on the second page. I don't see it. Armed only with the magic gem, Diamond Jack faces the killers.
Let him have it, boys. Let me have it.
As the bullets reach Diamond Jack's hand, they become flowers.
Thanks for the pretty flowers, gentlemen.
Diamond Jack walks to the gangster chief,
Is this candy for me?
and the gun turns into a candy stick.
Hey, am I dreaming? No, but you will be in a moment.
Jack leaps at the remaining thugs.
This is kind of a nice story.
Mm-hmm. Within split seconds, the stranger has vanquished the robbers.
Help! That guy's a wizard. You're quite right. You're quite right, my friend.
As the thugs flee, Diamond Jack tends the wounded man.
I'm afraid they finished me. Then don't be afraid any longer. You're a brave man, and you'll live to be an old man as well. Why? The bleeding stopped. I feel no pain.
Guests and employees gather to congratulate the wondrous miracle maker. What a wonderful man!
Magnificent. I'm mystified, sir. Who are you, and what are you?
Hmm.
My name is Diamond Jack, and that gunman was right. I'm a wizard. I must go. I can't let those gangsters escape. And you really went right into that women's line there, Diana.
Yep.
uh, that guy used magic on us. Used magic on us. Looks like looks like it, and I can think of only one thing to do.
The leader offers a desperate chance of escape.
We'll get magic of our own. I know somebody who claims to have the power of a witch. We'll go to her.
Later, in a slum of the great city, I'll do the witch, I guess. Ah, my friends, what can I do for you?
You call yourself a witch? Protect us from a man who fights with magic.
That sounds like Diamond Jack. I'll help you fight that upstart. Rise, dragon of smoke, and destroy Diamond Jack for me. The dragon sets out on its deadly mission. Meanwhile, Jack has pursued his enemies.
I spied them as they went into that old hovel.
As Diamond Jack sneaks up to the witch's house, the smoking dragon lifts him into the air. Diamond Jack shouts a magic word, and
Kazat!
from out of nowhere, a sword appears in his hand.
That finishes you.
The dying dragon vanishes into thin air as Jack speedily drops earthbound. Diamond Jack shouts another magic word,
Kazar!
and the sword turns into a parachute, gliding him safely to Earth.
Now for a surprise visit to the witch.
At the witch's house, victory is considered sure.
I think that's her speaking.
Oh, come again, friends. Always glad to help at a price.
Yeah, the sometimes with some of these older comics too, with the word bubbles,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they can get a little tricky. It's like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you can't be 100% sure where
Mm-hmm.
it's going. We've had a few of those the last few weeks. You know,
Yep.
where
It's
where
tricky.
you couldn't tell the tail either. There didn't seem to be a tail, or the tail was pointing at the wrong character.
Exactly. Exactly. Um, okay. Ah, my servant returns. Diamond Jack must have been destroyed. Well done. Now get back into your bottle.
Um, but that dragon doesn't seem quite right.
No,
Do you
it's not.
remember what the dragon looked like before?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
The
not. And it's
dragon was more in an astral form, but this one looks more solid.
right. The dragon moves slowly toward the witch. What's the matter? Why don't you obey my orders? You're not the smoke demon.
That's a good guess. I destroyed um, your your smoke dragon and came calling in his shape.
Diamond Jack, spare my life.
I don't kill women, but I'll make you harmless. This book, I believe, is your source of magic power.
Yes, yes, it's full of magic spells. A touch from the wizard's diamond hand.
Oh, yeah, diamond.
Yep.
Um, you only think it's full of magic spells. Sounds like he's gonna pull a little illusory.
A little.
Uh, here, madam, is your precious book. 1,000 ways to cook spinach. Oh, I'm sure Popeye would love that.
Yeah. Exactly.
uh,
My precious book ruined.
on the contrary, it's good for something now. Pleasant spinach cooking.
The magician follows close behind the gangsters.
um, with Diamond Jack out of the way, let's get to work. Yeah, let's crack that safe we spotted.
Silently unseen, Diamond Jack seizes the hindmost thug.
You know what hindmost means here, right?
Yes, the last man, the guy behind.
Right.
But it's interesting. Again, the word hindmost is not something that
Correct.
we
That
will say
that's
the
why
furthest
I
back
pointed
or
out.
whatever. Right? Yeah.
You know,
Which again is appreciative of reading the older comics because you hear words that you may have never heard before or words that are, from a different era that are sort
right.
of that,
You get more of a vocabulary lesson
for
right there.
sure. Yeah, for sure. Mhm. I think
Just
that's you.
a second. I'll be. Just a second. I'll be disguised.
Diamond Jack passes as the captured thug and
Don't lag behind. The safe's inside here. Wait for me, Chief.
stealthily employs magic as if to help.
Okay. Don't use that crowbar. Look, it's already open. Why, sure enough, it is. There it is. Bring the explosive. We'll open it in a sec.
Again, the magician intervenes.
Hold on. I can open it without any noise. Say, you must have caught on to some of Diamond Jack's magic. Could it be? Maybe.
Mhm.
Look, it, it's full of wealth. Boy, what ice! It's worth a fortune. Hmm. Now, in this context, Diana,
Mhm.
what is ice here in this
Well,
context?
ice obviously they're talking about money and ice meaning, in the context that it's written, they're talking about money. So they're referring to ice as having a lot of ice, meaning having a lot of money, would be my
Well, actually,
best guess.
usually, ice is another term they use for diamonds.
Diamonds. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You're right. I hadn't
And
thought of
diamonds
that.
are considered a valuable mineral, right?
Back then, too, diamonds were more popular. Like, you would always hear about the diamond hoist. You don't hear about that as much anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's other stuff.
Well,
But
and then what do they say about diamonds and girls?
our girl's best friend.
Yeah.
They're not
Um,
really, but that's what they think.
yeah. Right.
Okay.
So this is a prime haul. Let's get going. Let's get going. Wait,
Diamond Jack reveals his identity.
you're going to stay right here. He's that spy, Diamond Jack. He won't escape this time. Come on, all three of you. The only magic I'll use will be these two hands.
In a second, the battle is on.
Take that, and you take that. And now for you. Come on, you hocus pocus hero. Hocus pocus hero. That's quite a saying there, huh?
hmm Again, another word that you don't hear often, hocus pocus. A
Well,
lot of
there was
times.
a movie title.
I was just going there. I'm like, there was a movie of hocus, and it's actually very famous. A lot of fandom follow that whole movie series, which is interesting that they chose that word. But at any rate, ducking a murderous thrust, Diamond Jack counters.
You're too slow, my friend. That finishes you. Now then, bring some good. Bring some good out of this crime. I know a certain deserving young policeman.
Not far away, a rookie patrolman is making his rounds when the call box on the beat rings out.
A call, gangsters at the Rogers home. I'll be right there.
The officer arrives.
Must be in here. Here they are. Right, right, right. They were trying to rob this joint. Hello, Sergeant? Send the wagon right away.
And Diamond Jack quietly exults over good work well done.
Here's your paper, mister. All about the safe robbers. Well, well, how interesting.
Follow the thrilling adventures of Diamond Jack and his magic gem in the next issue of Slam Bang Comics. Wasn't that a good story? I
Yeah,
like
that
it.
was a pretty good story.
Hmm.
Any thoughts on it from very obviously from everything, anything and everything from
Well, I
writing structure, art, anything you want to comment on there for it there, Diana?
I appreciated. I did appreciate this story. Again, I know I've said this from the other stories that we've read. Very wholesome. It's very, it's very relatable. People can relate to it. They've got again some magic thrown in. I particularly like the artwork here. I want to say the word old fashioned, and that's not the correct terminology. I don't know what the style would be. I think an artist would be able to tell us, but I
Yeah,
think
Chris would probably have an interesting thing to say about the artwork. I'm
yeah,
sure.
I think it's very cool. Uh, how the paneling, the layout. I mean, I gotta say, I did really like this particular story. Probably my favorite out of all three. And it might have been because it was easier to read. The other two that when I looked at, like, I can't, I just,
It was harder to read because
it was much harder to read and to really get into.
yeah,
Um,
but
but the use
one of
of
the reasons why I wanted it because we had started the Ibis story was kind of a continuation from the first Ibis story. That's why I wanted
right,
to get that. And
exactly. Hmm.
so, but yeah, right now the rate we're just past the hour 15 here. So at the rate we're going, we might actually get all 5 stories. We might get done in 2 hours,
Hmm.
which now, granted, usually I'll slate a little bit more when there's new books because usually there's more background information to go over, obviously introductions and all that. But
Hmm.
tonight we didn't have a lot of that, so we may actually end up being done in 2 hours
Yeah,
at the rate we're going.
well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, slam bang gags, and we can hit some of these little things up here. These are like little tidbits. Oh, where have you been? Well, actually, why don't we do that? Because there's only one. There's only one little thing there for each. So let's alternate. So you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Okay. Well, where have you been?
Hmm. Someday one of you guys is gonna slip.
Let's see. That romance won't last.
What? Hold on a second. You better take over. I stutter.
So slam bang, little. Those were little humor pieces, obviously.
Yeah.
Warbird. And of course, again, if as we're flashing through here, if you want to also, we'll come back to the Jim Dolan one. That one has a woman in it as well, but wanted to do Mark Swift,
Hmm.
well, Jungle King, Lee Granger, Hurricane Harris, I believe, Mark Swift and the Time Retarder. Let's take a look at this. Let's see. I'm gonna let you do the narration, and then of course as women and children come up to, um, if we do have those, but I'll
Okay.
let you do the narration because I was thinking there were going to be more women, and I figured would have been actually had that Tia would have had more lines too. So
That's all right. I can do the narration. I'm fine with that. Okay, so we are reading Mark Swift in the Time Retarder.
uh,
Okay. Mr. Rodney Kent, grade school teacher in Greenville, has discovered the amazing principle of time travel. In his spare time, with his inventive ability, he builds a time retarder helped by young Mark Swift. Mark is an orphan boy living with Mr. Kent and liked by everybody. Together they make rapid progress.
There, the time retarder is completed. We'll call her the History Express. A better word than time retarder, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. That would be offensive in today's world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I myself do not like. Well, I know the context here, but the way most people use the word, the R word, as I call it,
Yep.
I don't care for.
Well, me neither. That's what I'm saying. It's not
Yeah.
the way most people use that word in today's language is not nice.
Yeah.
No.
No. Why, Mr. Kent? Um, be, uh, because Mark, because Mark with because Mark with this time retarder, I won't just teach history. I'll show it to you. Uh, where are we going, first, Mr. Kent? 1,000 years into the past.
The
Now,
time.
Mark Swift there, I'm guessing is probably he's not like a young, he's like probably I would say 12 to 14. That's why I'm doing his voice.
Mhm.
If he was younger than that, like if he was like preteen or what have you, I'd probably have you
Right.
do the voice. But he looks like he's kind of past puberty already. So
Yeah, I agree. Okay. The time retarder with Mark and Mr. Kent safely inside plunges into the past.
that was quick. Here we are in the year 940 A.D. 1,000 years into the past.
Mhm.
It felt like an elevator ride.
They see a strange sight. A Viking crew lands on the shore. Suddenly, from out of nowhere, a horde of screeching, savage redskins attack the Viking crew. Fighting valiantly but hopelessly outnumbered, the Vikings go down before the fierce attack of the Red Men. The only survivor is Princess Alicia, who is taken prisoner.
There's a narration next to it.
The second Viking crew lands, led by the courageous Eric, youthful guardian of the princess. It does. It throws me off because I'm looking for colored boxes, and this one was white background. So I'm like, oh, that's he's speaking, but no, he's not. You're right. Okay, here we go. Then we're back up to dialogue.
All right. Look. He doesn't know which way they took the princess. I'll talk to him in his language.
Mr. Kent talks to the Viking in his own language.
Uh, I um I am Eric. The red men have my princess. We will show you which way they went.
Mark Swift and Mr. Kent lead the way. But before they get far, they are attacked by a small band of howling redskins.
Now, Diana,
I was going to say, no, go ahead.
um, red. So, what do you just take a wild guess? What do you think? What do you think Redskins are? What do you think the Redskins are here?
They're Indians, of course. They're
Or
Indian.
Native Americans,
Or
right?
Native Americans, yes. And it's a slang. Many people in today's world would think that would be.
Well, remember, a football team ended up
Yes.
changing its name for it.
I know. And our high school team were the Red Raiders, and we had to change it because many of the community members felt that it was not nice in today's world. But anyways, we digress. With amazing strength and speed, the young Eric routs the
Route.
routs the savages.
You know what they're meaning in this particular context. What routes means in this context, right?
Well, yeah, he is like pushing him back. He's like going
Right.
after them. Yeah.
Right.
Defeated, He routs them, he defeats them, pushes them back.
Gee, you're some fighter, Eric.
Mark,
And you notice how I'm changing my tone, my vocal pitch for the between the different characters.
hmm
You notice how I'm doing that.
hmm hmm
That's kind of the fun thing too, is trying to pull that up. Now, granted, when obviously most of the time I'm also having to try to do the women voices, because somebody's got to do it. And when I
hmm
don't have a female co-host,
hmm
I usually just volunteer myself to do it. Not always. Anyways, back to the story here.
hmm Mark finds the trail.
Here's the trail. Good boy. You're a good Eagle Scout.
They find the Indian camp at night.
Hmm.
The helpless princess is taken to the Indian chief's teepee. Not knowing the horrible fate in store for her, the beautiful girl cries out in anguish for her faithful guardian, Eric. Eric, oh Eric, where are you? Hearing the heartrending call, Eric goes to the rescue.
Here I am, my princess.
Shouting the Viking war cry, they charge down upon the unsuspecting savages.
Now you were just chuckling there, Diana. Something about that kind of you found funny or found entertaining there? Or-
Well, it's just the damsel in distress, and you don't see that a lot anymore because in a lot of today's comics and the world, women, unfortunately, and oftentimes will overpower the men in many books. And so I just think it's very endearing that we have this poor little princess. Oh, please help me. The damsel in distress. You don't see that often anymore.
Well, we also don't hear a lot of women actually saying that's a good thing nowadays either.
No, I mean, I think that, I have my own personal reasons, but I'm not a weak woman. I'm a very independent person, but I also
But
kind of,
you appreciate you appreciate the traditional sense of being treated like a lady.
yes, yes,
You
that's a
know,
nice way to put it. Yep, absolutely.
Well, that's the thing. I'm when it comes to word usage, when it comes to communication, that's my thing, right?
Right,
You
right.
know, I mean, you probably talked to me enough times, you know that I have quite an extensive vocabulary.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay. Oh, although the odds are against them, the stalwart Norsemen battle fiercely to rescue their beloved princess. Mark and Mr. Kent set the teepees on fire.
Uh, we can help this way.
During the melee, Alicia escapes.
This is a little more than I bargained for.
Exactly. But the fates have decreed otherwise. Another tribe of redskins arrive at this moment, and the brave Vikings are under attack from every side. The redskins wage a merciless battle, and the Vikings are felled. Only Mark Swift, Mr. Kent, Princess Alicia, and Eric are taken alive. The victory dance.
Don't be sad, princess. We will escape somehow.
The next day. Oh, Eric, my love, where are they taking you? This is the Indians' idea of. Oh, sorry, it's a guy. I didn't
Yeah.
see the thing. It should.
This is the Indians' idea of sport. Um, but bet Eric shows them something.
Thrown into.
Kind of like the gladiatorial games of
Yeah,
ancient Rome. There, right?
exactly. Yeah, really. Thrown into the cage with the vicious eagles, the brave Eric slashes out with his heavy sword until the huge birds fall dead. Okay, why would they give him a sword in there? Why wouldn't they take his sword away from him?
You know something, Diana.
Yeah.
You should really watch the shows more, because what you're gonna find on what we've been discovering
Mm-hmm.
every week is that writers back in the golden age,
Yeah.
they had some incredible leaps of logic.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a really valid
They had
point.
some pretty incredible leaps of logic. I mean, if you've been watching the shows every week, if you've been watching the historical comic retrospects every week, you would understand you would have a better understanding. It just seems like, you know, again, you have to understand
Well,
this is still pretty early in the medium too.
mhm,
You know, it was still, at this point they were probably early childhood. You know, they weren't
mhm.
toddlers at this point, but you still had in some of the storytelling, some of the story writing, you still had some leaps of logic there. It's like, you know,
Well, that's a really valid point, and it is their story. They can make the character and do the scene anything they want. So,
but
um,
but
that
it's
jumped
like
out at me. I'm like,
the logic doesn't necessarily come through with them though a lot of times.
no, it's kind of like they forgot about that.
Right.
All right. Oh, here we go. His thirst for blood not satisfied, the chief sends Eric to the dragon. Ooh, poor Eric. Oh, wait a minute. That's sorry. That's a dialogue.
Poor Eric, with that monster, he hasn't got a chance.
Desire to rescue Alicia at any cost, Eric gives a giant strength, a mighty lunge, finds a vital spot, and the huge beast is slain. But now the Indians rush in to behead the fearless Eric. This poor guy. Oh man, he doesn't get a break. Okay, here we go.
Oh boy, and now we got some faded
Yeah, let's see.
faded
Okay,
porcelain copy.
the dauntless Viking youth with sword raised stands his ground. No, no, don't kill him. Suddenly, a loud roar is heard, and the slain dragon's mate comes lumbering out of the hills. Oh my gosh.
Huh.
The Indians flee, leaving their spears behind. Swiftly, Eric binds 3 spears together with rawhide. And when the huge beast is about to devour him, Eric plunges the spear into his mouth, preventing the mighty jaws from snapping.
Oh wow! That's pretty gruesome for a comic, isn't it?
Hmm. Well, yeah, I would have thought they would have written in he takes the spear and he shoves it into his heart or something, but no, he just shoves his mouth open. But and then obviously looking at the pictures, you see why, because he's going to utilize the dragon to take over probably. It says as the dragon lifts its head, Eric leans upon its back. The rawhide straps acts as improvised reins. Yep. So he literally did that because he's going to ride the beast. The great beast does Eric's bidding. The Indians are routed again. Eric returns to his friends.
Uh, climb on, all of you. Oh boy, this is fun.
They climb aboard the huge beast and are carried swiftly to the time retarder.
Um, oh, I think that's her. Oh no, that's Eric.
Yep.
We will find our people down the coast. Uh, goodbye.
Goodbye, friends. Oh, Eric, I'm so happy.
So am I, but it's hard to leave our friends. I hate to see them go. I'll never forget them. Golly, what an adventure! True enough, huh, there, Diana? What an
Right,
adventure.
right. What will Mark Swift and Mr. Kent find in the time of the Knights of the Round Table? Don't fail to see the next issue
Oh,
of Slam Bang.
I think I should have in that particular case. I should have probably delivered the
Oh, the last two, yeah, dialogues. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Where to now, Mr. Kent?
Mm-hmm.
Your next history lesson will be in the time of King Arthur.
There you
Now,
go. Oh, yeah. What will Mark Swift and Mr. Kent find in the time of the Knights of the Round Table? Don't fail to see the next issue of Slam Bang Comics. Bada boom, bada bang.
how did you like that story? That seemed like a very fun story.
That was a fun story. I like that one. That was good.
And I think we've got it. Think we how you holding up? You think you got enough for one more story?
Maybe one more. Yeah. If it's a
Yeah.
short one.
This will definitely be the last story, and then we'll just start closing up after.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So,
All right. So let's.
I do have to go back around. Let's see.
We got to go backwards, right?
Well, I could go backwards, or I could just keep flipping forward and just, you know.
Oh, I see.
Oh, there we go. Hold on. Previous. Jim Dolan.
Is that where we're headed?
Yeah.
Jim Dolan.
So, there is a female in here, but you know something? I think I'll let you do the narration again if you'd like.
Oh yeah, I don't mind.
Because I think there is a woman here as well, and I think she'll have a few more lines than the other one.
Okay, here we go. I just found it. Okay, Jim Dolan. This looks like another good one. It looks like it's pretty clear, the type, and the artwork is pretty good. All right, Jim Dolan. Okay, Jim Dolan, hard-hitting editor of Daring Detective magazine, is not content to sit back at his desk and wait for stories to come in. Time after time, he goes out after unsolved cases, solves them, and brings back the story. As a result, Daring Detective is the biggest sensation of the magazine world.
Well, so imagine that. Imagine having a magazine where they go kind of above and beyond what you'd expect a magazine to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of fun. Okay, so I'm guessing left to right here, top to bottom.
Yep. So it would be his experience as a former FBI man helps Jim Dolan in smashing the taxi racket.
Before you continue there,
mm-hmm.
You understand what the term? Do you know what the term taxi racket is? In that,
I actually don't. No, I don't.
Okay, so racket as in racketeering.
Right. Okay. That I knew.
Yeah. So the taxi racket in this case was, they were actually pretty common back in this time period.
Okay.
In which the mafia would basically, it would be kind of extortion, basically.
Okay.
They'd extort money
that makes
from
sense.
much like they would do with grocery stores and other businesses. It's like,
right.
Look, you need insurance. You need protection.
Well, if you're going to drive my,
then this is going to happen.
Right.
That's kind of the thing.
So. I know. I can understand why, because taxis were pretty commonplace of transportation back then. I mean, that was like almost, it was new. It was, but I think too, would it be, them needing protection from the other gangs and stuff? Is that why they would?
Well, that too, yeah. But it was basically used as a form of extortion, basically.
Okay. All right. Okay. Relentlessly pursuing the kidnappers, Jim Dolan rescues a missing heiress. Dolan's physical daring enables him to overpower a phantom axe murderer.
Now that was a bit of a tongue twister, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm like, what? I'd be editing that for sure. The police department is ready to cooperate with you.
I think
I'm sorry. Yeah, nope, no. I just
read the narration at the bottom now.
Yeah, his tireless efforts earn Jim Dolan the respect of the police department. There you go.
The police department is ready to cooperate with you at all times, Dolan. Thanks, Chief. That's swell.
Jim and his secretary.
You got so caught up in reading that you decided to try to read the men part too.
There you go. Jim and his secretary Sally Alden talk over a case.
Tony Bono goes to the chair tonight. He's the gangster who killed a cop.
Okay.
Now I'm guessing just to give you kind of some, to give you some kind of guidance here in terms of, so in this case, I think from the looks of it, she's probably a professional woman, probably in her 20s or 30s.
Mm-hmm.
So not quite the damsel in distress type, more like kind of the more independent, Lois Lane-ish, kind of character. So,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
anyways, go for it.
Okay. They never did get the money he stole from the Welfare League. Wouldn't it be swell to find that money and return it so the poor and needy would get it?
Good idea. I think I'll have a talk with Bono.
Jim Dolan visits Tony Bono in the death house.
That money is no good to you anymore, Tony. Tell me where it is so I can return it. Honest, Jim, I ain't got no part of that dough. Do me a favor, Jim, and tell my wife to read the psalm on page 555 of her Bible. Sure, Tony. Funny.
Yeah.
Funny. A killer like Tony wanting his wife to pray for him?
A short way from the prison, 4 men rush Dolan.
That's Dolan! Grab him, men! Something's up.
Outnumbered, Jim battles bravely until one of the thugs sneaks up from behind and cracks Dolan over the head.
Get him in there. We got to get back to the chief.
Dolan comes to in the gangster's hideout.
We know Tony Bono wants his wife to get that dough. What did he tell you about it? Not a thing. I'm guessing these are some of his former gang members, I guess.
Yeah.
We got ways to make you talk. Hold his hands out. Oh, look at what do you think they're gonna do there? Just looking at that.
Burn him. Looks like they're gonna burn him. There's 2 torches. They're gonna hold his hands out or brand him. That looks like irons, like branding irons, maybe, or something.
Yeah, and they look like they're flaming. So it's like you've heard the expression "hold somebody's feet to the fire." It looks like they're gonna hold his hands to the fire, as it were.
Yeah, there you go.
Them red hot irons will make him sting.
Dolan kicks the table over, tripping the chief to the floor, and wades into the rest of the gang.
Not so fast, wise guys. Get him, Joe. This'll stop him.
With tremendous force, Dolan hurls a chair at the thug and...
That's what you think.
Rushes out of the door in time to leap on a passing taxi.
Wow, there's some stunt work there, huh?
In the Lower East Side of the town, a midday fire breaks out mysteriously. That's funny. Jim Dolan approaches Mrs. Bono's house and finds it ablaze.
Mrs. Bono, she's trapped up there on the second floor. What? I've got to get her out.
Dolan rushes to the blazing building despite the chief's warning of danger.
Dolan, come back. That building will come down any minute.
With little thought of personal safety, he climbs the ladder to the woman's room. Inside, Dolan finds the woman bound to a chair amidst the roaring inferno. The daring editor frees her.
The Bible must be the Bible. Must be the one Tony spoke about.
The walls are they're caving in. I'm assuming it's her. Oh, maybe not. It must be him.
And him, because she
Him,
looks
yeah.
like she's
Yeah,
out.
she looks like she's out, doesn't she, after I said it?
Yeah. The walls they're caving in.
With the limp form of Mrs. Bono in his arm, Jim Dolan appears on the window ledge. Without hesitation, the fearless editor leaps to the waiting net below as the skeleton framework of the charred building crumbles and crashes to the ground. That's a really
Now, Diana. Let me ask you this.
Mhm.
Let me ask you this. Of course, how, how would you react being being in a man's arms like that, unconscious, jumping out of a building like that? How if you realized what was going on, how do you
well,
think you would react to that?
well, she's unconscious, so she doesn't have a clue. But I would think if let's just say she came to while she was flying down. I think she's in shock. I don't think there'd be much of a reaction. I think she's in smoke inhalation shock. Um, but I was going to comment on the actual page itself, the layout. I love that particular page. I think it's very well drawn, personally.
What in terms of the artwork?
In terms of excuse me, wait a minute.
What was that?
Oh, I'm so sorry. The perspective. I love how the perspective of it and the coloring. I think that's very cool. The shadow at the bottom. You can see there's shadow.
Yeah, that is some good perspective.
I like that.
You all right there, Diana?
I am. I'm coming down with a cold, and I just am feeling it right now. It's hitting me. Safely, they land in the net. Strained by the ordeal, Mrs. Bono lapses into unconsciousness.
So she was unconscious,
Yeah.
unconscious.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll have to rush her to the hospital. I think she did still say something there.
Yeah. Well, Bible Ross's men toured out tonight. She's like, Bible Ross's men toured out tonight.
Page 555, torn out. The 23rd Psalm is on that page. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. I've got it.
Jim Dolan heads back to his office.
Green Pastures Cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Think I'll pay it a surprise visit tonight. All right there, Diana?
Yeah, I am. Sorry. Okay. At the office, Jim finds his secretary gone.
Sally must have stepped out. A note from Sally. Why, the dirty rat? And I think we can read that one.
Yeah. We're going after the money. If you want to see the girl again, keep out of the Bono case. Spike Rossi. That night at Green Pastures Cemetery.
Must be their car. They're here somewhere.
From a darkened mausoleum, 3 of Ross's men appear.
50 grand. All here. Hey, what's up? Look out. Somebody's coming this way.
Dolan charges at the thugs. A fast bit of gunplay followed by swift punching, and 2 of the crooks are subdued. The third makes good his escape.
Wait, what? Hold on.
The third makes good his escape.
No, something's up there. Oh, okay. I see what happened. I didn't see that there was another panel down below there.
Oh, okay.
So I had already gone to the next page, without knowing there was that other
panel behind. Yeah, okay. All right, yeah.
Panel at the very bottom there.
Hello, the Elk of Antioch.
Oh yeah, the elk. Yeah, also known as J.R. Exner.
Yeah.
Hey, JR, how you doing tonight? Hope if you can, of course, like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything we talk about grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, hail Xenu and Xena. So that's what that all is.
All right.
Okay, so anyways, now on to this one.
Dolan forces the remaining gangsters to talk.
Talk. Where's Rossi? Or I'll don't shoot. I'll talk. Rossi's got the girl. They're in a launch anchored out of the bay. He's waiting for the money. Okay, so what does the word launch here mean, Diana? Do you know?
Yeah, he's in a boat. He's in some sort of a floating vessel, a boat. I don't
Right.
know, something like that.
Exactly what it is.
hmm Jim Dolan takes the gangster to the harbor police.
And I've got to get out to that boat immediately, Chief. I've got a boat ready.
The police boat speeds to the gangster's launch. A short distance from the thugs, Dolan leaves the police boat.
We'll board her as soon as we hear a shot, Dolan.
Jim swims to the gangster's craft. On board, Dolan proceeds down the hatch where he bumps into one of Ross's men.
Not so fast, buddy.
The noise brings Rossi and his men to the scene.
I'll finish him. A little present for you, Mike.
The police, hearing a shot, board the gangster boat.
That's our signal, men. After them.
The police rush into a pitched battle with the crooks. The well-aimed blows and bullets of the police soon have the gunmen under control.
Here it is, Chief. Every cent of the stolen money. The Welfare League sure needs this money, Dolan. Another scoop for the readers of Daring Detective magazine.
Follow the thrilling and exciting adventures of Jim Dolan, editor of Daring Detective magazine, as he solves another baffling mystery in the next issue of Slam Bang Comics. That was another good story. I enjoyed that. That was good.
All right, so that's all I had planned to read tonight. So yeah,
Awesome. We did good.
we're gonna get to just past the 2 hour mark here because of course there's one last segment to do before we even do that, of course. Overall, how did you like the story selection tonight?
I enjoyed. Actually, I like them all. I have to say. I think Iblis was harder to read just because of the blurriness of it, but the actual content of each story I enjoyed. And like I said, I like the simplicity of it, with the good guy, the bad guy, the princess, we have to go and save or, conquer a mission. And I love reading some of the older terms that we don't hear often these days. And I'll be honest, I do like the damsel in distress. I do like the fact that women are portrayed not weaker, but they're portrayed, where men help them as opposed to the women step in and bash the bad guy. Not that that's a bad thing. I mean, it's not, but it's like it's swung the other way.
You still appreciate the idea.
Yeah, of course.
Of women being treated like ladies.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
not just something to sleep with or something you find on a corner or what have you. Just them being treated like ladies, like very proper and pristine. All right, so that's it for, of course, the stories here. So and then of course as we get ready to close, now I'm going to ask that you stick around after we finish up here for a few minutes, Diana, for some post-show stuff. So I hope you can stick around. So with that, so now we're at the point of the show. We're kind of towards the end of the show. So today being Friday, January the 12th, 2023, let's take a look back this day, Nietzsche history. History! So first off, we're going to head back 90 years ago today. As on this date, 90 years ago today, back in 1934, Hollandaise would premiere in movie theaters. Hollandaise, of course, was an animated short produced by Terry. Let me see, Terry Tunes. Farmer Alfalfa tries to save his Swiss cheese from thieving mice. That was Hollandaise. So on this date, 90 years ago today, Terry Tunes' Hollandaise premiered in movie theaters. Now this was at a point in time when, of course, cartoons were like the animated shorts you see in movie theaters. Before the main feature, they were part of a package thing where they'd have newsreels,
Right.
and of course the animated shorts. So 90 years ago, Hollandaise from Terry Toon premiered in movie theaters. So can we move on to the next piece of Nietzsche history as we fast forward to the year 2000. On this day in 2000, on this day in the year 2000, the 250th issue of Cerebus from Aardvark-Vanaheim went on sale on newsstands on this date 24 years ago today, back in 2000. 24 years ago today, the 250th issue of Cerebus from Aardvark-Vanaheim went on sale on this date, sold for $2.25, 24 pages. Going Home 19 was the title of the story, with Dave Sim doing the writing, art, and lettering for this story. So there we go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now moving ahead 4 years after that, on this date in 2004, on this date in 2004, on this date in 2004, from the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York, WWE held its Monday Night Raw event on this date back in 2024. The main event saw Randy Orton retain the WWE Intercontinental title over Rob Van Dam. Mark Henry with Jazz and Theodore Long in his corner defeat Chris Jericho. We saw Goldberg defeat Matt Hardy. Jazz and Molly Holly with Theodore Long in their corner defeated Lita and Trish Stratus in the opening match of the evening. So that happened 20 years ago today. Monday Night Raw from the Nassau Coliseum in Uniondale, New York. And finally, we move ahead to 2019. On this day, 5 years ago today, in 2019, the anime movie produced by Ufotable, Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel 2, Lost Butterfly, premiered on this date 5 years ago today. So Ufotable's Fate Stay Night, Heaven's Feel 2, Lost Butterfly, premiered 5 years ago today as part of the Fate Stay Night franchise. So there we go, everybody. Again, Diana, before we head out, one last thing before we head out, if you'd like to do an outro, I give my guests obviously a chance to do both an intro and an outro. You want to, I guess, again, promote any projects you're doing, share any links.
Absolutely.
And the story, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are finishing up The Great Cyclopean issue 7. Chris is putting the final touches on this weekend. We will be launching hopefully this coming week. However, you can go to our website, heroshack.com. We have issues, The Great Cyclopean issues 1 through 6. They are currently free on our website, so you can read them, get a taste of who the Great Cyclopean is. So please feel free to go on over there. And also, we do have a Hero Shack store at Fund My Comics, where you can find all of our books and other merchandise, such as t-shirts and things like that. So I will drop a couple of the links into the chat right now. But feel free to check it out. You can always reach out to Chris or I. All of our information, again, is on the website. So here is the website. Although I didn't put the link, I did exactly what I did last time. Oh my gosh.
Well, actually, this time you did put the www part.
I did put the www. I am not very good at this kind of stuff, but here is the link. I think you can just click on that. I'm not sure, but
well, okay. So Diana, here's a little trick I learned in copying links, right? So when you go to the site, right?
Yeah.
You know, you know where the address is when you go to a site.
Yeah.
Okay, so you go up there, you hit the not the one on the left, but the cursor on the right button.
Right.
To highlight it, and then it will show you like copy, paste, all that. So you just
yeah.
it there.
Okay.
And then that way, and then once you copy it, then you go to wherever you want to put it
Paste
at,
it.
and then you just paste it.
Yeah, so that's what I did. So I put the direct link to the website. If you go to the website, you'll see on the front page, it talks about the free comics to read. And then I did link the Fund My Comic Hero Shack Press store. If you click on that link, it'll bring you right to our store. So check us out. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you.
All right. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Miss Diana, I know you enjoyed the show, right?
Yeah, no, it was good. I like reading. I don't like to just sit here. So I'm very thankful that you allowed me to read a lot of the narrative tonight. Because like you said, most of the stories don't have a lot of woman parts. They do have some, but not a lot.
Once I realized that, I realized, okay, I should give you the narration at least.
So the narration, at least it keeps me, and it helps to keep me engaged. Exactly. So it was good.
All right. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. We'll be back here, of course, Sunday and I hope I can get you and Chris to join us on the panel show because I've said before, I would really like to hear your thoughts on some of the stuff we talk about, obviously. So we'll be back Sunday for the weekend edition for our panel show. Then Monday through Thursday with the Niche Newscast. Next week, we'll be continuing our look through January 1920. I believe we'll be going through Fiction House next week. Trying to remember. Well, I think I'll have Rick on with me next week, Rick Piper.
Oh, good.
Double check that. And also, Diana, I know I didn't get a chance to tell you and Chris this, but I'm using my community tab more on my YouTube channel.
Okay.
So you might want to check that out, to get updates on what we're doing and stuff like that. So, and I'll be talking a little bit more about that in a moment here. But with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see everybody back here on Sunday. Bye.